Hello and welcome back, guys. What's good? I'm here as usual to hook you up with the latest happenings around our country, Nigeria. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel, like, share, and leave us a comment. That's all. Peter Obi threatens the political establishment while ADC remains in disarray. It has been a few months since Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso dumped Nigeria's largest opposition party, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), to pick the presidential tickets of the Labour Party (LP) and New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) respectively. Less than 2 weeks to the kick-off of the campaigns, the two candidates remain among the most talked about and are considered to be the biggest threats to the candidates of the two major parties. The All Progressives Congress (APC) and PDP have produced the presidents and controlled the National Assembly and governed all but a few of the 36 states of the Federation since the Fourth Republic began in 1999. However, the supporters of the minority parties, in particular those of Mr. Obi, believe that the apple cart is about to be turned. Their stance seemed to have been lent credence last week by an opinion poll that put the LP candidate at the head of the standings before the campaigns formally began on 28 September. With his supporters making themselves heard across different social platforms since he decided to run on the platform of a small party, the former Anambra governor is widely seen as the biggest threat to the candidate of the ruling APC, Bola Tinubu, and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. The trio dominate discussions on Twitter in Nigeria. This trend has set the stage for tantalizing electioneering from 28 September. While the ceremonies around the demise of the United Kingdom's longest-serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth, were still a major discourse, Nigeria's political discourse tilted when the result of the controversial opinion poll was released. In the poll conducted by NOI for ANAP Foundation, run by business mogul Atedo Peterside, Mr. Obi, who is taunted by his opponents as social media president, came top with 21%, with Mr. Kwankwaso coming fourth with 3%. Both the APC and PDP presidential candidates garnered 13% each in the poll, which ANAP Foundation said was conducted in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Not surprisingly, the APC, PDP and NNPP were united in immediately questioning the credibility of the poll. If you take away 57.5% of the people who are active for him, who probably live abroad and they don't have voters card, they are likely not to come to vote, then what it means is that Peter is basking in the euphoria of hallucination, and this poll result is a true reflection of that, the PDP campaign spokesperson Daniel Bwala said on a television program the day after the poll was released. Last week, the LP candidate visited former President Goodluck Jonathan weeks after meeting with another former President Olusegun Obasanjo in London. Mr. Obi also addressed the conclave of all Nigerian Anglican archbishops and bishops in Abuja following interactive meetings with the EU ambassador and heads of missions. But his biggest showing last week was his appearance on a live program on CNN presented by British-Nigerian anchor Zain Asher. In the engagement, Mr. Obi spoke about his chances in the election and what would be his priorities if elected. On his part, Mr. Kwankwaso of the NNPP had a meeting with two former military heads of state, Ibrahim Babangida and Abdusalami Abubakar, and also commissioned offices for the party in Niger and Adamawa states. It's that time, guys, where I break in to solicit for your subs, likes, shares, and comments. Let's go, guys, and keep growing V Media. Thank you. With the campaigns for the 2023 general election set to formally kick off in 10 days, one of the 18 registered parties, the African Democratic Congress (ADC), is enmeshed in an internal crisis. The crisis came to a head penultimate Saturday when the National Working Committee (NWC) of the party announced the expulsion of its presidential candidate Dumebi Kashiku from the party. Mr. Kashiku has rejected the sanction and insists he remains the candidate of the party for the 25th February 2023 presidential election. The feud in the ADC began in late August when 27 of the 37 state chairpersons of the party called for the resignation of their national chairman, Ralph Nwosu. Mr. Nwosu, who has led the party since it was founded in 2005, is the longest-serving party chairperson in Nigeria's history. The state chairpersons said after 17 years of piloting the affairs of the party, it was time for him to step down. However, Mr. Nwosu later told journalists the issue with the party's chairpersons had been resolved and that they had given him one more year to lead the party. The crisis appeared to be over from that point until the penultimate Saturday when the party announced the suspension of the presidential candidate over a video the ADC said projected its leadership in a bad light. In the video, Mr. Kashiku criticized Mr. Nwosu for clinging to his position after serving the maximum 2 terms allowed by the constitution of the party. The NWC, led by Mr. Nwosu, dismissed the content of the video as crass, irresponsibility, callous, indiscipline, false scandalization, and blackmail, and entirely unsuitable of someone who wants to be president of Nigeria. But Mr. Kashiku's calm vow to force the resignation of Mr. Nwosu and the election of a new NWC to lead the party through the 2023 general election. The candidate has gained the backing of most of the state chairpersons of the party. However, while the State Chairpersons Forum said it has formed an interim leadership of the party, the National Secretariat and other organs remain under the control of Mr. Nwosu-led NWC. The NWC, led by Mr. Nwosu, has continued to operate from the party's head office in Abuja, while members of Mr. Kashiku's faction stay away. To demonstrate his continued control of the party, Mr. Nwosu on Friday announced the expulsion of Mr. Kashiku and 7 other top members from the party. He said the decision followed the recommendation of a 7-member disciplinary committee that looked into cases against the party members. He said the committee met 6 times between 8th and 14th of September to discuss the allegations leveled against the presidential candidates and others. The constitution of the ADC empowers a disciplinary committee to investigate alleged infractions by its members and recommend sanctions. Article 15B of the Constitution stipulates that where there is a complaint of misconduct against any party members, the appropriate disciplinary committee shall inform the members in writing concerning the allegations and the place and time of hearing the case against him or them. But the chairman of the ADC Chairman Forum, Kingsley Oga, who is one of those expelled by the NWC, told this newspaper on Saturday that they were not informed by the committee of the allegations against them or invited to defend themselves. This newspaper also observed that the NWC did not announce the setting up of a disciplinary committee before announcing the expulsions and has not disclosed the names of the members of the committee. As political parties prepare for the beginning of campaigns on 28 September, the ADC is being weighed down by the crisis which has resulted in many court cases against its leadership. Mr. Nwosu recently sued his party's presidential candidate for alleged defamation for which he is demanding 20 billion naira in damages. This newspaper also gathered that Mr. Kashiku and some state chairpersons have engaged a senior lawyer, Mike Ozekome, to lead their legal battle to kick out Mr. Nwosu and his NWC. Even when united, the ADC has not made a mark in the general election since the party was registered 17 years ago. That's all the news for right now, guys. Catch y'all soon. Bye.